This train's going to be a big iron coffin for all of you.
With the onslaught of games media shouting controversy whenever the name Hatred comes about, it's almost impossible to not have been caught up in all the drama one way or another. Destructive Creations promises graphic content as you take on the role of a spree killer, gunning down hundreds of police and civilians alike. But of course, with any game, there begs a question. Is it any good? Well, load up on ammunition and prepare your cheesy one-liners, for here's my review of Hatred.
An election rally today. I fucking hate politics. But more than that, I hate politicians. And all the scum so easily.
The story of Hatred is a simple one. You are only known as the antagonist. Mr. Antagonist is mad. Real mad. So mad that he hates every human being that exists on the planet Earth, including himself. After reading through his book called Cheesy Dialogue 101 and listening to his favorite Linkin Park album, Mr. Antagonist puts on his leather jacket, grabs some weapons, and begins his rampage on the world. It's pretty hard to tell if what he's doing is premeditated because half of the things he does seems to be completely off the cuff. Sure, he had all those weapons in his house, but there's one point in the game where he just decides, you know what? I guess I'll just go blow up that conveniently placed nuclear power plant since I'm on a train that leads me to it. Honestly, there's next to no plot, which is probably a good thing. Mr. Antagonist is a goofy character, just looking at his hair alone makes you giggle at the ridiculousness of it all. I was chuckling at nearly every bit of dialogue he spoke because the delivery was so perfectly poor.
All the flock in the same barn. Birds of a feather die together.
There's no branching story, no dialogue options, no decisions to be made, so Hatred is very simple on the story front. I'd be interested in learning about his backstory though, finding out things like, why does Mr. Antagonist hate humanity so much? What happened to him? Where is his family? Or the most important question, how does he see through that hair? All important questions that will sadly never be answered in this game. Where Hatred fails in story, it makes up for in presentation. The game is absolutely gorgeous, utilizing the Unreal Engine in a unique way. The film-grain noir effect is accented beautifully with police sirens, fire, and blood in the world. The way everything just works together is a strike of artistic wizardry. As the game progresses, it almost feels like more and more color is brought into the world, with the last level being the most colorful of them all. The explosions and destructive environments are top-notch, with particle effects and hit detection on buildings that bring me back to the old days of Fear. Sadly, the good news stops there when it comes to performance. Playing with the press copy before release, I was getting some terrible frame rates, averaging around 30 to 35 frames per second. Any game that involves quick reflexes and aiming on PC should easily be able to manage 60 frames per second on an Nvidia 970. Hatred has been running poorly for many people, including on Total Biscuit's Nvidia 980, which he mentioned in his WTF Is video of the game. And although there are many graphical options to choose from, setting everything from ultra to low settings did not improve the performance at all. I can only hope to see patches coming out soon to fix it, otherwise it's a pain to play. Now onto the violence. Does Hatred show sadistic and torturous depictions of murder on the innocence of mankind, the likes of which we've never seen before? The answer, of course, is no. This game has such mild violence, it's amazing how they got it to look so violent in the trailers. Mortal Kombat 10 has way more gratuitous violence than this, and the characters in that have a backstory to them, so you can even feel emotions when watching those characters die. In this, they're just poorly textured character models getting insta-kill for health regeneration, nothing more than that. The worst you'll see is someone getting curb stomped like in Gears of War. And on the plus side, if you don't want to see executions, you can turn them off, which you'll end up doing anyway, because they get in the way of the flow of combat. So rest assured, this game is not so intense as the ESRB adult-only rating claimed it to be. Hatred is a fairly bog-standard twin-stick shooter. Left-click to shoot, right-click to aim further down range, and you move the cursor with your mouse. You hit shift to run and spacebar to dodge out of the way. I found the game played better with mouse and keyboard because every shot counts. Ammunition at times can be very sparse because, lo and behold, not every upstand citizen has a gun on their person. Although if they do, they will try and shoot you. Ammo and weapons are usually found in gun stores on the corpses of dead police officers, SWAT members, and military forces. You may find things like flamethrowers, Molotov cocktails, grenades, assault rifles, pistols, shotguns, and the like throughout your spree. Sadly, there's nothing too unique about the guns, with the flamethrower being the most interesting of them all, given that the Unreal Engine makes the flames look awesome. One of the biggest gameplay mechanics of Hatred is the ability to use destructible environments to your advantage. Need to break into a building but can't find the front door? Blow open a hole in the side. I had a lot of fun with the destruction offered in the game, and I'll admit, I looked for all the red exploding items and blew them up just to see what would happen. You can also use vehicles, but those do blow up just as easily as the red barrels. Now, you may be wondering, other than slaughtering innocent people, what are your objectives in Hatred? Well, good sir or madam, there are two forms of objectives. The first is the main objective. This usually is just simply kill X number of people to progress. But the side objectives are how you earn respawn tokens. These range from killing everyone in a building to killing everyone in a building. Okay, sure, there are some side quests that have you burn money or blow something up, but all of them in some way had you killing more people. But back to the topic of respawning. Respawning in Hatred is the worst. If you die before you get a respawn point, you have to wait through a painstakingly long loading screen for the level to reset. The fact that you die so easily on all three difficulty settings is a pain. You could say this adds to the challenge, but it's absolutely infuriating dying right at the very end of a 10 to 20 minute level only to have to redo the whole thing again. The way you regenerate health also further adds to the annoyance factor when you have to execute people to get some of your health back. The amount of health you get back depends on what difficulty you're playing on. The problem is you have no idea when you knock someone down if they're dead or not. I can't tell you how many times I've shot some random dude hoping I didn't kill him so I can execute them for health, only to find out he's dead and then a hail of bullets are headed my way. It was annoying as hell. Lastly, on the easy difficulty, which is basically the same difficulty as the other two, only you regain more health from executions. I was able to beat the game in just 3 hours. There's also next to no replayability, for there's no random encounters, random side objectives, or anything of the sort. It's the same on every difficulty no matter what. I wish there was more to the game, but I couldn't help but grow tired of it after just an hour of play due to the punishing respawn system, annoying health mechanic, and poor framerate. Although Hatred doesn't deserve the harsh flack it was receiving for being too edgy, it does unfortunately fall under the category of being fairly standard. I love the cool destruction that the game offered and the art design was top-notch, but the uninteresting gunplay, lack of things to do aside from just killing people, and absolutely abysmal performance, I simply can't recommend the game in its current state. If you're interested in picking up the game, I would recommend waiting for a few performance patches to come out before making your purchase to save yourself a headache. With all that said, I'm giving Hatred a 3 out of 5. Thanks for watching my review of Hatred. I honestly don't believe that all the flack that the game got was worth all the hubbub, and honestly, it's really not half bad. I gave it a 3 out of 5, of course, because it's fairly average, and I think that once the frame rate's fixed, it will be a much better title and a lot easier to play. As for upcoming reviews, I am hard at work getting my Witcher 3 Wild Hunt review out. I'm taking my time with the game, so I don't have an ETA for you yet. I may be reviewing some other smaller titles in between the preparation for that review, But you can check me out at 8 a.m. Eastern every single morning on twitch.tv/Akabane101. Link in the description below for that, as well as if you want to pick up Hatred itself, the link is also at the very top of the description as always. I'm Akabane101, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching, and I will check you out next time.